Hello everyone. So today we are going to see a small topic called equations of motion. So it is going to be the basic part of your introduction to aerospace. Okay. In order to study the performance of an aeroplane, so we must derive a set of equations. It is the fundamental equations that govern the translation motion of an aeroplane through air. Okay, so this must be established. So we will be able to study the performance of an aeroplane with the set of these fundamental equations. Okay, so consider an aeroplane. So we will be imagining, we are supposed to imagine an aircraft is climbing. Okay, so just refer to the diagram, we will see how to draw that. Okay, so before getting into that, I will brief you a set of things. So flight path, so just understand the basic thing. Flight path is the direction of motion of an aeroplane, and theta, let theta be the flight path angle with respect to horizontal axis. From previous lectures, like we have seen, like alpha is the angle of attack and mean chord length is considered as the angle of attack in this case. So to evaluate the performance of an aeroplane, we are just studying like how the aeroplane reacts with the four forces, like what are the four forces acting on an airplane. So we have got the four forces, namely the lift, drag, weight and thrust. Okay, so lift is the perpendicular flows. Okay, so and it is perpendicular to the direction of flight path. So the parallel force, so the parallel force to the flight path is your drag, and weight is W, that is acting vertically down towards the center of earth. Okay, and T is your thrust. Okay, so this is what the four forces. Let us see the diagram right now. So if you take an aeroplane, so it is just, if you see, observe this diagram, I'm just considering this to be in the climbing phase. Okay, so I have got the aeroplane, and in the center you have got the airfoil, that is your wings. Okay, so wings, just 25 percentage I am considering it, like from the leading edge you have the center of gravity. Okay, the line joining leading edge and the trailing edge is your chord, so that is easy to draw. So initially draw the horizontal axis. Okay, so horizontal axis is the basic thing that we draw, and then draw the airfoil. Okay, third is your aircraft structure. So the first thing that I draw is the leading edge and the trailing edge. Okay, so I will be able to mark the chord. Okay, so followed by I can imagine the flight path. Okay, if I consider the flight path, though it is like a straight and level, but when you observe it from a long distance, okay, it is going to be like a curvature. It's going to be like a curved flight path. It is not going to be a straight path. Okay, so it is nothing but when we observe things from a distance, we'll be able to understand like the path is going to be curvature. It's going to be a curved one and not a straight one. Okay, so I'm able to draw the chord, I'm able to draw the flight path. Okay, so we all know it is going to be the perpendicular line, that is your lift. So instead of drawing a straight line, I've striked it out, so you can understand why I have striked it out. So lift is going to act perpendicular to the flight path. So imagine the wings is going to have a lift, so that is why I've drawn a small inclination. The lift is having a small inclination. So we all know the opposite of lift is your weight. So always the weight acts towards your center of earth. Okay, so weight is acting, is inclined at an angle theta when you observe it from left. Okay, when you, with respect to left direction, the weight is acting at an angle theta, since the weight always acts vertically towards the center of earth. Okay, so it is easy for us to mark left weight and a line that is parallel to flight path is your drag, and T, so it is going to act slightly inclined. Okay, so I am giving an angle theta. Okay, and it is angled at an angle, sorry, it is it is given at an angle alpha T. Okay, so considering a force, so we are just observing, we are just studying the forces. Okay, so force can be easily related with the Newton's second law of motion. So according to Newton's second law of motion, we know F, that is your force, force is equal to mass into acceleration. Okay, so we have got two things, the forces. When we consider the four forces, we have got parallel forces and this here perpendicular forces. So all these things are towards your flight path. We have got two things, one is here parallel forces and this here perpendicular forces. Okay, so considering only the parallel forces, I'm gonna have two formulae, two equations. So mass into acceleration, so just v is the instantaneous velocity, so I'm gonna have my equation as mass into, that is m into dv by dt, and in terms of a perpendicular direction it is going to be my curved path. Okay, so radius of curvature is I'm taking into consideration, so my equation becomes mass into v square by rc, where v is your instantaneous velocity and rc is your radius of curvature. Okay, we will see what are all the things that are there. So v is the instantaneous value of airplane's flight velocity, and sigma f parallel, that is summation of forces parallel to a flight path, and summation of f perpendicular, that is your summation of forces perpendicular to flight path. Okay, and v square by rc, so rc is acceleration normal to curved path and rc denotes radius of curvature. Okay, so this is what I am taking now. So from the diagram we are going to resolve the fundamental equations. So we are going to derive a set of equations called equations of motion. Okay, consider only the parallel forces. So parallel to the horizontal axis, this is my horizontal axis, so the forces acting parallel to it are supposed to be considered. Okay, so the first parallel force is here, we have got T is there, drag is there, and W is there. So T is gonna have like T cos alpha T. Okay, because I'm considering horizontal axis, so I must consider only the parallel forces acting towards it. So my first equation becomes like T, this summation of forces acting parallel is like T cos alpha T. Okay, and D is in my negative direction, so it becomes minus D, and W, so W is also acting in the negative direction, so negative weight, negative W sin theta, because I'm considering it in parallel to the horizontal axis. So my first equation, when I consider only the parallel forces, I've got T, that is my thrust, so it is in the positive direction, so I am considering it in positive, T cos alpha T minus D minus W sin theta. Okay, so because right hand side becomes positive and negative as it comes to the left hand side. Okay, so I must consider in my second case only the perpendicular forces. So if I consider my perpendicular forces, right now my equation becomes T sin alpha T, because here the equation is with respect to your perpendicular forces, so cos becomes sin, so T sin alpha T, L is perpendicular and it is in positive direction, so it is positive L, and W, so drag is a parallel force, so there is no consideration of it, and W is here negative, so it is like, since I am considering with the perpendicular axis, it becomes W cos theta. So equation 3 and 4 are your basic governing equations. So I am just comparing this, I am combining equation 1 in 3 and equation 2 with 4. Okay, if I do that, I will be able to get equation 5 and 6. Okay, see here I'm comparing with the Newton's second law of motion, so I'm able to derive equation 5 and equation 6. So equation 5 and equation 6 are said to be the equations of motion in translation flight. So that is your climbing equation. So when it is the aircraft is in climbing stage, the equations that I am going to use is the equation number 5 and equation number 6. So we are right now in the analysis of static performance. So in static case, there is no acceleration. My acceleration of an aircraft is going to be 0, and such condition is called as the unaccelerated flight. So performance of an airplane for unaccelerated flight conditions is called as the static performance. Okay, so when you are going to have a steady level flight with unaccelerated flight conditions, we will be able to calculate few things like your maximum velocity, maximum rate of climb, and maximum range. So these calculations can be obtained with the help of calculations using the static performance analysis of an unaccelerated flight. Okay, so for steady and unaccelerated flight, my theta is going to be 0 because my flight path is going to be parallel to my horizontal axis. So there is the inclination is become 0. If I am able to substitute this theta is equal to 0 in equation 5 and 6, so equation 5 and 6 is here. So sine 0 is 0 and cos, like I'm gonna replace theta with 0, so here it becomes 0 and cos theta becomes 1. So and I'm gonna have t cos alpha t, and when I bring it to the other side, I will be able to have t cos alpha t is equal to d. So in the second case, when I am substituting in equation 6, I have got the three values: L, that is your lift, plus t sine alpha t, and the remaining one is like your W. So these two things, these are the two set of equations, equation 7 and equation number 8. Okay, so further to an unaccelerated flight, for a conventional aeroplane, the alpha t, that is your angle of attack with respect to your velocity vector or your thrust, is going to be minimum, and I'm considering it for a cos alpha t to be 1 and sin alpha t to be 0. And make a note here, sin alpha t, it is not sine, it is sin alpha t, that is I'm considering it as 0. So when I substitute this set of values in equation 7 and 8, I'm going to have thrust is equal to drag and lift is equal to weight. So this is the final equation. Equation number 9 and equation number 10 are your equations of motion for a steady level flight of an unaccelerated flight condition. Okay, so it's a quick 10 set of equations, a quick derivation of your equation of motion. Okay, so thank you all.